what I'm actually going to be talking about today is, now that you've purchased or deployed or built or developed a policy management, assuming it's an electronic policy management system, now what? What is the most important thing for me to do, or what are some of the most important things for me to do? So I would say the most common mistake that I see organizations, so healthcare organizations, making over time is when they purchase the system, they simply start rapidly, right? So I'm going to make a little guy here. He's running really fast so that he's rapidly deploying documents into your new system. And it happens so rapidly that what was formerly what we call policy chaos outside the system becomes electronic policy chaos inside the system. So what should you do if you're watching this video to not do this? So getting policies into any type of software application is really, really easy. Any vendor, any developer, any engineer, any IT person will say, oh yeah, documents, no problem. We're gonna get uploading them is super quick. Creating some users, we can sync with this, and we can bring all of our users in. Everything is pretty rapid, pretty fast, but the one area that I feel that everybody should just be honest with, that hey, it's gonna take some time, right? Is every single policy that goes in, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done in any kind of software application, in whatever flavor that they are or we are doing it in. So the little bit of work is really assigning what they call policy metadata. So the critical statistics or information for each policy, entering that appropriately for each policy. So for example, if you imagine this as a policy, right? So this will be your policy here that you're viewing in any system. Now somewhere along near the policy, either at the top or at the side, I'll just do it here because you can see it here probably in the camera a little bit better, you're gonna have several fields that you can start filling out stuff. So it might be the name of the policy, it might be your policy number if you're still using it, it might be who's in charge of it, it might be your next review date, it might be what types of standards, Joint Commission standards, regulations, bylaws, etc., DNV standards, ISO standards do you have that relate to this policy? What are all of those things? I would advise you that build into your project plan or take the time to actually enter the information here that makes the most sense for you. I would say must-dos, the name of the policy. If you're using a policy number, the number of the policy. Who is ultimately, what human being is in charge of the policy at your hospital? When is the next review date? Because what you want is you want the software to keep track of the next review date and notify that person by email without them having to remember, or somebody's assistant having to manage a spreadsheet to email that person so they remember to update the policy. You want all that happening by itself. And if you have the capability, start tying your accreditation standards and bylaws to the policy. Those are the must-dos. If you do this, you're going to get a huge ROI. You're going to get beautiful returns from a system like this. And probably the metric that I can give you is I'll just write it up here, for every 1,000 policies and procedures you have, it's probably going to take you about 20 hours to enter it properly. So every 1,000 policies and procedures you have, it's going to take you about 20 hours to enter it properly. I said it twice just for emphasis because that's a nice metric for you to have. So thanks for watching this episode of Policy Whiteboard Sessions.